The issue is that the way that we run our front suspension is we have traditionally always had a rod end, which is represented by this coarse piece here, to be able to thread in and out and adjust the angle of our kingpin to account for any manufacturing errors, or maybe we need to tune our suspension a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always make it so that we can move this in and out. The problem now is that this is sticking out way too far. There's barely 3/8 of an inch of threads within the actual part here, and this is threaded and this is threaded in real life. And so the main problem was when I came up with the initial geometry layout, I still didn't know quite how far all this was, so I had designed this arm to be of these specifications. And so then another person said, I'll take care of this, and so they took it from there, and they never actually made a full assembled model like this. This was actual, so this model showing the entire front suspension, brake rotors, hubs, everything all put together. These green show where the shock is going to go. This was never made until after most of the parts were built. And so as soon as we built it, I saw that they had built it that way because I hadn't checked in on them. I was doing the actual full frame and body. As soon as I saw it was built, I was like, we're going to have to remake this. And the main reason is when braking, so say we're going straight and we're braking, or even when we're turning and braking, so now all the brake force is coming and trying to take these A-arms and rotate them that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that puts this very thin, this is a 3/8 inch rod end, and it's putting it in pretty much pure bending. It's high enough strength that it wouldn't fail due to the load of the braking that we have to do, but it could fatigue and break, and because it's sticking out so long, there would be enough slop that really it wouldn't be accomplishing its task of adjustability.
So what was it about this that prevented the other person from seeing that it needed to be changed ahead of time?
They focused so much on this one part that they never looked back at the system that it was needing to go into.
Okay, so I think I remember you saying that, I'm not going to use your exact words, but you said you were really angry with this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a continuation. It just happens again and again with this person and the people that have been doing this suspension. It's again and again and again. They have not really done much forethinking, and so when I had some spare time, I built this whole model to show them completely that how everything will have to work. And the primary thing, if they just asked questions, like I did the layout, and so there were schematics showing this from a front view, just pen and paper lines essentially of how far this was. So if they had actually compared the length from here to here with what it was supposed to be from here to here, they would have seen just how much it actually would have had to extend out. And whenever they did their analysis, they never included this piece in the analysis. They applied all of their loads to the inside face of here instead of creating an assembly, putting this here, and applying it there.
Do you have any idea why this person or these people didn't look at the bigger picture and didn't ask questions?
I think it's a lack of experience primarily, and then there's also I guess when you build it in a computer model, I think there's more of a sense that, yeah, this is going to work because the computer is saying that it's going to work. And so they just, it never occurred to them through lack of experience, and that the model said it was going to work, that there was no way that it would not work and it would not fit. And a big thing, but the main thing is that they just never wanted to double check themselves.
They never checked. And maybe they didn't know to check.
Yeah, and the experience could pull in. Lack of experience could show that they didn't know to check. I've had a lot of experience where a lot of times when somebody's doing something for the first time, they check all the time. They ask all the time. They're constantly asking questions. But then every once in a while you get the people that, I can do this and don't need to check. Whereas since they've never done it before, they've never had it blow up in their face. So.
Okay, well, the way I see that it happened was there was, 3 of us working on it. And we had some conflicts between the 2 of them, and I was kind of in between the 2 for a while, and that's the way the whole front suspension was designed. So there was some miscommunication there, and the way I see this, that the reason this happened was the top A-arm wasn't really the main concern. The main concern was the kingpin.
So when you're talking about conflicts and miscommunication, how did those happen? Like what do you mean when you say there are conflicts?
Well, one person has one idea, and the other person just blows it out the window and says it's completely stupid to do it that way. It'd be much easier and lighter to do it this way. So now, I mean, and they can't get on the same page. So somebody has to make a decision, and nobody's really in charge of that to actually just say, okay, no, look, we're going to do it this way. Instead, if 2 people don't agree, and they never agree, they just kind of do it their own way. If the one person does it first, then he's going to do it their way. If the other person does it first, they're going to do it his way. So it's like somebody needs to be in charge to actually make the decision and tell people how we're going to do it. So
when one person said, "Oh, this is stupid," it might have been able to have been fixed a little faster if instead of just saying this is stupid and blowing it off, they would have sat down and said, "Okay, well, let me understand why you're saying it that way, and if you'll try to take a chance to understand why I'm saying it this way." So
if they would have looked at each other's designs more, it would have worked out better, because they could have been able to integrate them. I can see how I could have changed it, how I could have fixed it. I could have been more open and been more persistent about, say, having this one person get the chassis onto Solar One, so I have access to it, so I could have checked it. I kind of gave up after a while because I tried to get him to do this, and then I just gave up. Where if I could have continued, like, just been more persistent with it, I'm sure he had other things that he could have done.
And Solar One is the file system that everybody gets access to.
Yes.
So when you say you were persistent, or you tried, what did you do, and what might you have done differently?
Well, what I did was I asked him, like, he was sitting at the computer, and I asked him to put it on Solar One, and then I just left. I didn't, like, see if I could do something for him. Whereas, like, now I could have, said, okay, let me take this so you have time to do that, basically.
Let's see if you can recall what it is that I suggested for things you could ask him during when he gets upset and frustrated. Oh, sounds like you feel really strongly about this. I'd like to understand your reasoning.
Yeah.
And then when he doesn't listen, or your perception that he's not listening, what would you say?
Well, ask his permission before you give your opinion.
Yeah. So, okay, I heard your side. I'd like to describe what I was thinking when I put that together. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And because asking permission makes it less likely that he'll think that you're just arguing with him.